Hello and welcome to another Sensual Sovereignty Burn the Box. On this full moon in Sagittarius, and this is with the beautiful and talented Maria Lua. So let me tell you a little bit about her before I bring her on. Maria Lua is a singer, songwriter, musician, performer, and spiritual alchemist, and has been using songwriting and music as tools of self-expression from the tender age of 5. Maria comes from a long line of Indigenous African, Mauritian, and Portuguese songwriters, musicians, poets, and activists who have developed the gift of soul songwriting, so beautiful, as a means to express their soul, their truth, sovereignty, and joy, and to heal intergenerational trauma. Maria shares these beautiful gifts from her ancestors through her Heart and Soul Songwriting School. Soul songwriting is a powerful form of self-healing and emotional alchemy, and she says, "It is my passion to teach creative and original people how to enhance their intuition through writing heartfelt and meaningful soul songs." Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Okay, let me bring her on. Gosh, excuse me. Yay! Oh, so good to be here with you.
Thank you.
You
You
look
too,
gorgeous.
beautiful sister and sibling.
Yes. Oh, I
Thank
love your
you.
hair.
Yeah,
I haven't seen you in a
yeah, it's
while,
been,
so.
it's different every day. But yeah, today this is this is how it is. Yeah.
This is how it is. It's gorgeous. Um, so, oh, gosh, I feel like I haven't done this in a while, and it's not been that long because I did one
Yeah.
for the last new moon. So it's like only a couple of weeks. Let me just say, for anyone who's watching or joining or listen later, that this whole series, Sensual Sovereignty, Burn the Box, was about really breathing life and exploring this idea of sensual sovereignty, embodied love, liberation, and the license to expand the expression of our true essence. And as my first guest that I had on this shared, she talked about stepping out of boxes and burning boxes. And that really landed for me because as we really expand our true essence, we are leaving boxes. We can no longer fit into constricted places in our lives and in our expression. So I'm wondering, welcome to everyone who's joining us. Maria, there looks like there's
Yeah.
some people who you know here.
I haven't,
Feel free to
oh,
say whatever
basically
you'd like
this
to
is
welcome.
I love to see these people because I haven't, I used to be it wasn't I got sick before this. I was a live streamer, musician. And some of the people here are the people who used to come to my gigs all the time. Sarik Sile, Farazzle Dazzle. We used to just have these online parties. I used to DJ and like play music, whatever. It was like hangout spots. Exactly what you're doing here. And it's really beautiful to
Yeah.
have them here. And also Eva, my beautiful friend from South Africa. Um, yeah,
Oh,
missed you, Cyric style. So I really appreciate you, Sonali, doing this because I've been in my box since I have been through so much transition and been ill and gone through huge transformation, which I'm sure everyone has in the past few years. Um, and I needed someone to hold space for me to come out again, because I've been kind of like scared to step out, but at the same time, it's so beautiful to go live and to connect with beautiful people, you know. And I guess I've been like nervous to do that and make that step. That's why when you invited me, it felt like just the right thing in the right way. And you're the way you are is just so nurturing and beautiful. And I've been watching these Burn the Box series of yours, and I'm so honored to be a part of it. And this is exactly the right way to come out and to show. So thank you.
Oh,
I feel safe.
oh, thank you. I'm so grateful you're here. I'm seeing all these comments. Welcome, everyone. And I was just, I was thinking about how you and I met during a process for like you said, for so many of us, but for each of us too, about a big transition, of big change, and with all of with our teacher, Dr. Rocio Rosales Mesa, and decolonial healing, and now decolonial alchemy. It's really been, we're on it, it's quite a journey. It's been beautiful to witness you on that. And I know that, well, I really want to open it for wherever you'd want to start, but I do know that you've been on even quite recently, just a lot of change and a lot of travel and a lot of visiting places you hadn't been in many, many years and all of this. I know you always have mentioned also about the online parties. I'm like, oh yeah, like bring those back. I think it would be amazing.
Yeah. It's been so great to have met you. I think meeting you in Dr. Rocio's group, the Decolonial Alchemy, the space for spiritual, women of color, women and femmes of color who are wanting to learn about, decolonization and to decolonize, basically. Just being welcomed into that group was such a huge shift for me, for my identity and for feeling like, and I'm sure you felt this as well, we have these like monthly calls, but, wherever I walk, I feel my siblings with me there, It's really powerful. And it's something that, being a refugee my whole life, an indigenous refugee, I feel I haven't had that. And I just thought, okay, this is how it is for me. And it changed for me when I joined the group, Dr. Rocio's group, and also when we became even more connected, just me, you, and the other two beautiful siblings, and connected even closer, and it became like a friendship. Be able to witness you on your journey, and me and our other siblings, and to support that and be there. It's everything. I can't even tell you the strength it's given me to be myself, and to understand and honor my own ancestors, and understand my journey of decolonization, and get strength from that, and be okay with, I get to have this time to learn about that, I get to get it wrong at certain times. I get to learn and be learning. Just that permission, that we get from our teacher and that we get from the sacred space has given me such a strong foundation to understand my work as a singer-songwriter, a songwriting coach, and what it is, what it's grounded in. It's grounded in my own ancestral lineage, and she's given me, and these groups that we belong in, and being more connected with people of color has given me like the vocabulary to know how to honor my own ancestors. And that's big for me as a songwriter. I didn't have the vocabulary, and that's everything. I come from a long line of, not just from my indigenous side, but also from my white European Portuguese side. I'm mixed race, but on both sides, journalists, playwrights, songwriters. It's I'm a mixed person from a long line, It's a weird place to be, one foot in both camp, and so the decolonized and anti-racist journey looks different, and it's been hard for me to find examples and places where I can know and figure it out. So I've had to do a lot of it on my own, but I have a lot of guidance from my own ancestors who brought me back. places and people
Mm-hmm.
and teachers and land and yeah, you know. So I'm kind of just learning as I go and like taking notes in the form of songwriting. Like this happened. This is how it
Mm,
feels, you know. It's just that's what I've inherited because that ability to express in that
yeah.
way, you know, and that's something I really am thankful
Mhm.
for to my own ancestors and also to my teachers, music teachers, Dr. Rocio, to be able to know how to honor and how to decolonize it, you know, and how to use it as a tool. And yeah,
Mhm.
it's an exciting time right now. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, what a journey. And as you mentioned, like from what I was hearing and also kind of feeling as I listened to you is this process of like integration, like you and your body in your lived experience are bringing together these different, very different lineages, and also as it happens to be like songwriters. I mean, you were born to be, I suppose, a songwriter and to bring this forth, but also this like um, a process that can feel, I would imagine, and what I've heard from others too, just like that, how it can maybe feel confusing at times, right? When you're bringing together these different parts of you and connecting to different ancestors and like how that, as we talk about alchemize, like how that alchemizes within you.
Yeah. It's it's why I'm so glad we have a teacher. Without Dr. Rocio and my other, for her, she's a primary teacher for me because she's available regularly and, you know, yeah, she's someone we can ask and she's there physically, you know, not physically, virtually, but actually we're in her group. Without that, I have been very lost for a very long time because I'm open spiritually, you know, to intuition, to whatever you might call psychic things. You know, I pick up a lot. You know, I'm very deeply spiritual. It's something that was taught to me by my own ancestors. But the knowing who's talking thing, you know, and understanding where the messages are coming from and knowing whether they're decolonized or not. That's something I haven't had any support with, you know, and it's something I am a real
Mhm.
novice student at, if I'm completely honest, you know. So I'm at the beginning
Mhm.
of my journey with that. So I'm really grateful to have a guide for that because yeah, it gets busy and noisy up there. Like who's talking? You know, like you know, and sometimes you know, your ancestors they have a
Yes.
lot they want to say, you know, and it's like here this is happening, this happened, and it's like how much of it is relevant to me, you know, and that's where the sovereignty bit is so powerful because it's like okay,
Mhm.
but I need to be okay, I need to be happy. I need to be able to live at ease. I
Mhm.
can't fix all the stuff,
Mhm.
but I can fix me, you know? And that's something I'm also learning about how to shut the channel off when I need to have silence and I need to just take care of me because I get very confused with like taking care of people. As women of color, we're raised, you know, to be in service. And I think that's something that even through our ancestors,
Yeah.
I have felt personally can can show up, you know? Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I really feel the what was coming through is like that discernment about who you're listening to, like who you're allowing in. Oh, I
Um,
hope you can see me. It
okay.
looks like it froze. Okay.
Are you there, Sonali?
I think it's back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's just been laggy.
Yes. Oh yeah,
Okay,
here.
I'm here.
Here. um, what I was just saying about like discernment of, which ancestors are like who you're allowing in at any moment, and also discernment to know when it's time to just stop that for a moment and just give yourself like discernment about your own care, your own self-care.
Yeah,
Um, it just sounds like that's very important in the process.
definitely. And it was really revolutionary for me. It was only a couple of meetings ago, like maybe 2 or 3 months ago, that we heard from our teacher, Doctora,
Mhm.
that you have to know how to stop the voices too, you know. And one way, you know, she gave some tips. That's really important for me, like, you know, because we get to all the ancestors and everything, and I love my ancestors, but also the healed ancestors, please, you know, because there's a lot that are not, you know. So we get to be
Yes.
discerning, and that's where the, you know, the sovereignty is so important. And I remember when she first started this group and was talking about sovereignty, and I was like, what is that? I didn't even have a know what it was really. Funny, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I'm smiling also because honestly, like some years ago, I wouldn't have been thinking at all about sovereignty, but then it started to get very louder, very much, very loud for me. And I was kind of talking about it without, and I still am learning, but without really knowing what it
Yeah,
was, you know, except that it
yeah.
was
And
important.
it sounds important,
Like,
but what, how to relate it to your own life when it's not, you know, as women, we're not taught. You know, you get to say no, you get to be sovereign, you get to take care of you. No, we're taught this is more important. This is how it should be. Oh, you're not a real caring person
yeah,
if you don't give everything. That's the opposite of sovereignty. It's like we're taught the opposite of sovereignty, right? It's almost even hidden from
yeah,
us. Like
absolutely.
you know. Mm.
Hmm.
So it's really great what you're doing in sensual sovereignty piece. That's powerful. You know, I would love to hear more about that. You know, I've
Hmm.
dipped my toe into tantra and things like that, and for me, it's been life changing. But you know, I'm cautious about my teachers there very much, especially now also understanding about, you know, appropriation and things, you know, and I don't want to re-traumatize or learn or even like invest in the wrong kind of things, you know. I'm super cautious now because I realized
Hmm.
before I didn't have that discernment. So, you know, I had good teachers, but I
Hmm.
wasn't looking and seeing how the impact maybe of whitewashed tantra could be affecting me, you know. Uh, so I'm very, very
Yeah.
interested in what's coming out now out of the, you know, decolonization field with regards to tantra and going back to the original teachers and the original people who hold wisdom through their own ancestry. I'm very
Mhm.
excited about that.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, gosh, I'm still learning myself, you know, a lot. And also, yeah, there's a lot about discernment and there's a lot about, yeah, there's appropriation and there's also a lot of, in various lineages, whether it's tantra, whether it's yoga, you know, like these that have roots in indigenous people, there's also been a lot of um, abuse and you know just boundary violation, like just all kinds of things. Like it's kind of inherent to these paths, which has made it very. I'm hesitant as well. Like I know I'm not delving deep into certain things now because um, I just feel like it's unfortunate, but also just the truth that the lineages, as this knowledge got passed down and everything, there was also a lot of um, misuse, abuse. I don't know, just like people that were harmed, you know, along the way, and then it's hard to know from various teachers who had a lot of influence, perhaps, but they were doing these kinds of things also. So I find it hard to find the like just get to some teachers, you know, who can share this kind of wisdom. But I found the same thing just in my own journey of leaving the U.S. and going to Sri Lanka, where where my roots lie, and my parents are both born and raised there. That it was really a challenge to like find. Then I wasn't looking at tantra as much as Ayurveda and looking at that indigenous, that healing tradition, it was hard, like to find teachers, to find people. And so I think a lot of it does come back to what we were talking about before of us learning and being discerning about what we're taking in and what we're bringing forth through our own bodies, through our own experience.
Yeah. We always have to be on the lookout, right? You know, like where is it creeping in, you know? Because a lot of stuff, I mean, I know personally for me, is internalized, you know, so it's even in our own voices and our own like knowledge and things, you know, stuff cannot be, you know, stuff needs to be looked at from all angles and reassessed, like, does this feel right? But that feels good to me, you know. It feels good that we can take responsibility, you know, for ourselves in that way, you know. No one else, you know, this following of other people against all, you know, sensibilities, you know, just, oh, that person's a guru, that person's the one. In my own family, you know, there is some of this that I had to turn away from, you know, like, this is how it is. And like, really? Can't we even ask questions? No. And it's like, ooh, red flags. You can't even ask questions. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
It's so true. It's a big shift, I think, that we're experiencing, that you and I are experiencing in this age, and any of us, you know, doing this kind of work, that it's, I feel a big shift from, the kind of that like top down, and that all, it's all right, the patriarchy, white supremacy, colonialism, that was just like, no, you can't question anything. And here are teachers, and they're to be, you know, the teachings are to be taken in without question. It's really shifted a lot, and I think that's very healthy, actually.
For me, that's what I look out for in any teacher or in any thing I join or workshop or anything like that, is, you know, where its roots, and also, you know, can I ask questions? You know, and if people are open to those things, that feels safer, you know. And some people are aware, and it comes from, unfortunately, it comes from having experienced all the abuse and all of the things that are wrong about things, and people asking questions, and now people are becoming more accountable, you know. So that's a good thing. It is good. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of things that are happening in the world are not like that, you know. And I've been struggling a lot with integration of, well, you know, I've just recently returned from Southern Africa, which was amazing. You know, I was very ill with long COVID for the past 18 months, and returning there, literally before my airplane landed, I was better. You know, it was a problem with life force. That was the problem. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't stand enough to brush my teeth. I mean, it was really bad. My life changed, you know. And then just going back there was like, it was that I had been away too long from home and from people who I knew and knew me, you know. And I always kept flying the flag, no, you know, from where I'm from, this is where I'm from. And you find, like, you know, having been living in the UK, I mean, I grew up in Lesotho, Southeast Africa, you know, and then I came to the UK, and it was like it's a different planet. It's a whole different planet, you know. And the fact of being a minority, you know, here, and just everything that's been happening in the last few years with regards to race and with regards to, you know, people finally saying things and stuff being much more obvious about what's going on, was had created a lot of deep triggers within me, you know. And going back home has been really powerful, you know, in good and bad ways, because I've been able to see how things have moved on and how they haven't, and how it's hard to put into words, really. I'm still integrating it. But it was a really important thing to go back there and understand a little bit more about what it looks like for me, you know, what decolonization looks like as a Southern African person, you know. And I also felt certain ancestors there much stronger, you know, it came through so much stronger. Things were much clearer, and also like I understood that, you know, the land remembered me, you know, and I think that was the strongest part of the healing for me, you know. And also because I've been doing a lot of work around the decolonization within myself, and going back there, I had a new lens with which to look things through, and so the parts of me that needed to learn and grow, you know, were awake and receiving the changes there, you know. This is how it is now, it's not how it was before. I needed to be there for my own decolonial journey, and also to be discerning about that as well, like yes, this happened, you know, what are the bits that I'm affected by, what are the bits that, you know, that how to like be me in this day and age. From it's hard to you know, when I left South Africa, Mandela was just freed, you know, just freed. And so now I've gone back. It was 28 years since the first vote that everyone got. And it's a life, it is like, that's South Africa. Then you have the Mozambique thing, right? And I got to interact with some of my relatives there and understand the Mozambique thing, which I'm not close enough to, even though that is my lineage, because I've never lived there. And then there was the Lesotho thing, which is for me where I consider myself to be from. It's where I grew up. I went to indigenous schools there. I grew up in the mountains there. You know, I have friends there who I consider extended family, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, you know, and reciprocated. It's very confusing and very like mixed, the messages that I got. But the main message I got was, it was an educational for me, and also to know, like, you know, where I come from, and that to stay in contact and to stay connected. You know, I made new connections to nourish those connections, and almost like I'm being asked to live in both worlds, you know. There's a thing about it, and I don't always understand it, but I've always been the only white person in the school, or the only white person in the group, or the only, you know, although I look white, I don't consider myself white. And it took me living in the UK for a really long time to understand where I truly identify. And that's what I learned. I know who I am. I'm a Basutu woman, you know. The language was coming back for me, you know. It's where I feel this is my people. This is feels at home, even though to the outside I look white, and I'm called Mahua. That's the name for like a white person in Lesotho. But I'm there with Black people, and I'm being invited. You know, like they're in my home, I'm in their home. We're together. We relate to each other as sister, brother. It's a weird thing, you know. But we're okay with it, and like that's what I've become okay with. That feels home to me, you know. And and I brought that back with me, you know. And that feels, now I'm integrating this side, you know. But I feel so much stronger. I feel like my roots have been reestablished, and you know, I can move on in my life and know, like, this is where I'm going, this is where I come from, you know. Being reconnected with the land and the people is so important, and that's what I was disconnected from. And I think that's one of the wounds of colonization, right? Anyway, it's hard to put into words. This is the first time I've ever talked about it really openly, so I appreciate you listening and holding space for me. And it probably sounds a bit weird, but I have no other way to describe it.
I was just taking all of that in, Maria, and I just was feeling how the power of it, the power of like noticing a difference when you're plane is close to the land that you went to, that you hadn't been in 28 years, that you have ties to, that you have roots to, and that ability to allow yourself to be affected by the land, the people that you're meeting. And it's kind of like a few things were coming up for me, but one is the like our physical location, like our physical connection to land, and alongside of that, our inner, like our inner process, the inner work, if you will, or like the decolonizing, the claiming of different parts of us, like there's an external aspect, and then like this very internal journey kind of thing. I use the word journey a lot for a lot of things, but like it just, I mean, I can relate to it too in my own way, but going to certain places, parts kind of can come alive, like inner part, lost parts, parts that we get to reclaim, or that we get to acknowledge or remember, even in a different way.
Yeah.
And I was just hearing that and feeling that from what you described.
Yeah, for sure. And I was also asked to, who are you? I get, as being a mixed person, you it's a choice, a daily choice, and I came across some ancestors that from the same lineage, kind of from one side of lineage, that it does come from the indigenous side, but they grew up in Europe, and they're working in Mozambique, and their viewpoint and their outlook was shocking to me and completely unacceptable. And it actually pushed me to decide, you know what? I need to come out with this big and strong, and be very, very clear. This is where I stand. Very clear, very regularly, very open. I'm a person of color. Here is my ancestry. This is my lineage. This is what I believe. This is how it's going to be. And if that's how you are, then I'm sorry. I had to be very clear. And in a way, it was a gift, even though it was a very difficult thing. It was a gift of like, okay, I'm going to have to be clear about this. And that was the gift I got from going back there. And it kind of, I come from a long line of people who have, who look mixed, and both of my grandmothers were born in Mozambique and were sent to Europe away from their black grandmothers. Yeah. That's what's in the lineage. But they were both very spiritual and had these gifts, right? And hid the indigenous stuff in my one side in music and in poetry, and in the other side in spirituality and Christianity and Catholicism. It was all in there for whoever needed to pick it up, and I picked it up from both of them, so it was amplified, and so coming back, it's like there's a deep fear in them, because you have to hide these things. And that was also reinforced by being sent to a white South African boarding school at a really young age, for lack of money and resources to be able to afford like private schools in Lesotho, because it's either that or not really getting an education. And apartheid really hurt me, it really, really created a lot of damage. And so that's what going back for me was, really being able to discern where I am, and connecting with old friends, and knowing, even as a child, I was protected there. I was brought into contact with people, and for me, I was taught to be, this is me, I'm from Lesotho, we're mixed, we don't care, like I'm mixed right there. And I was made to feel shame about that, and I still didn't, because South Africa was also going through a change. And so I got the benefit of, okay, things are changing now. Thank goodness for one of my ancestors, you know, Madiba Mandela, you know, he's my chief, you know, and he was changing things, you know. So I respect him, and I acknowledge him as one of my teachers, and that through his protection, I got to keep the friends that I had, and I got to keep, you know, the people in my life that I had, and it was okay. We were part of that change, you know, as children. Like for us, it was different, you know, but also indoctrinated, you know, just history, like the history we were taught in school is just like, really, you're not gonna mention the things. You're just gonna talk, you know. It's like, and going back there has really been an opportunity to look at it with my new eyes and see, you know, the inner children, and kind of gather them all up and be like, this is how it is now, and this is how we are now, and we're safe. We're safe to be from Lesotho again. You know, we're safe to talk about it like that. And now, not only that, we can be proud of it, you know, and that allows me also, you know, some protection of a huge backlash that's happening now in South Africa, which is, for me, I support, you know, like people are standing up now, you know, people are not, they're talking about it now, you know. That's good. I 100% support that. But also, you know, understanding and being able to protect myself and know what my place is in the new South Africa, you know. And it does come with a lot of responsibility because of the color of my skin, but also, you know, I'm also a mixed person of color, you know, so I get hurt by it too. So finding my way has been really difficult. And my aunt and uncle who are living there really helped me, you know, understand how they are and their approach to, you know, so much with everyone, and doing the work to approach people, you know, being the one. Hi, how are you? Da, 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 you know, being the one. That's a big lesson I learned, and maybe something for another day. But it was really, really important for me to know that, like, I didn't create that world, but we can be part of changing it, you know, by saying, you know, by being approachable and opening to everyone, and not being fear-based and hiding and being scared and continuing the apartheid thing. No, forget it, you know. So yeah, I learned a lot.
Yeah, a lot. Oh, it's beautiful to hear. It's so powerful. Maria, I want to go back to something you mentioned to see if you're open to sharing a little bit more. You mentioned in this process of going back, and I think this was in Mozambique, is what you're saying, that you met relatives, ancestors that their viewpoints were unacceptable. I heard the word unacceptable. And this is like, this fueled you into being more strong, and, you know, and being more able to claim what you felt you went to. But I wondered if you could speak a little bit to what you meant by it was unacceptable.
Sure.
What is that? If it's not, if you're open to that.
Very open to that. Thanks for asking. So it was actually not an ancestor. It was a younger cousin. So I am the ancestor. Yeah. And she got to learn here now from me. Because both like, she comes from a side of the family that, well, she was raised in Lisbon. White Portuguese education, you know, and all of that. I was raised in Lesotho from not only my mother and father, who were heavily like open about their indigenous roots and very like revolutionary with their own lineage. Like, this is how it is. We are African. And so were my aunt and uncle, who had also my cousins. So it was quite a strong family base that was like, we are African. I mean, they were hippies, you know, they were just like, not, and I can see why, because it was closer to their indigenous roots. They were like, okay, this works for, you know, we like this hippie thing. This works for, this feels, you know, they're going around wearing kikois, you know, they're really connecting to their own and indigenous heritage, both sets of like parents, you could almost say. And so for me, I realized I took it for granted that no, this is how it is. Like, this is how it is. This is normal. This is my normal. But I realized cousins, you know, I have Portuguese cousins because, you know, the Portuguese in Mozambique were kicked out, rightfully so, you know, in the 70s, and Mozambique took its sovereignty back. So I have a lot of family who went back, you know, to live in Lisbon, both of my grandmothers, and I have family who stayed in Mozambique, and I have family in South Africa, all over, right? And then there's us who were in Lesotho. So this cousin knew her grandmother. So this is my grandmother from Mozambique, was from, was mixed indigenous, was from Mozambique, and got an opportunity to go work there 10 years ago. She's a younger cousin than me. So I've never really met her until this time. So she goes to Mozambique and she has a job there as a PA to some company. And so I've never met her, but then, I was in a part of South Africa that was close to Maputo, and that's the capital of Mozambique. So I texted her, hey, this is also my grandmother's influence, because my grandmother brought together me and my aunt and like a whole bunch of people on her birthday. We didn't realize it was her birthday, and then it was, oh, it's her birthday type of thing. This is my grandmother, she's passed now, but she does these things. And so I think the connection with my cousin was one of those, like, oh, she wanted us to come together. This is her granddaughter. Both of her granddaughters wanted us to come together. So we did. And then within 10 minutes of me meeting my cousin and her partner, who is also a white Portuguese man, their views on Black Mozambicans and, Black were so racist and offensive that it was within 10 minutes of meeting them, I was like, right, I was already up in their face. Like, so you're trying to tell me basically that I really don't want to re-traumatize anyone on this stream and say things that, because also for me, but trust me, it was the views
Absolutely.
of a white supremacist country, Portugal, who are probably some of the worst slave traders there ever were. They were the first and the last to do it. And they still are nowhere near anywhere close to the anti-racism work that's happening, say, for instance, in the UK. That's saying a lot, because the UK is pretty fucking racist. Just saying. They haven't even started having these conversations, okay, in Portugal. So, yeah. So the Portuguese are pretty racist. But the reality is they lost the colonial war. And they destroyed themselves by trying to fight all the colonies, and lost. And their country, beautiful as it is, and I do, honor my Portuguese lineage in some ways, but with this colonial past, this is the one I'm telling you now is, and they still believe they're superior to the colonies. Them.
Yeah.
At least these cousins did, and I have other cousins who I cut ties with for the same reason. And I just had to put her straight, like, wow, you believe that? Because, it's the first time, because I've been really like spending time on purpose with people who get it, like that's why being a part of the decolonial alchemy thing and connected with you, we can go further than this conversation. It's like we're ready, we can go further. We don't have to cover the same ground. We know that we've educated ourselves to a certain point. And it was shocking to me how someone can be so uneducated but be talking about other people like they're uneducated. It's like, do you even see yourself, and but in some ways it allowed me, I guess it's good in some ways, to surround, to have this exposure to people who really think that way, and really believe they're superior because they, I don't know, color of their skin. They really believe that because of their education. What education? Like, what are you talking about? Because, so for me, anyway, some of the stuff that they were talking about. And I just think, what are you doing in that country? We didn't invite you. You're not invited. Yeah. The reason you're seeing all these things, you complain, it's like this, they should be doing this better with the country. I get it. Here's the interesting thing. I get it that it's good they took their country back, but they should be doing more about it. I'm like, do you know what 500 years of slavery looks like? It was just the other day that you guys fucked off out of there. And now you want to come and be like, it should be like this, it should be like that. There was so much, and I actually experienced a lot of, I actually experienced threat of physical violence there.
Wow.
because it got to a point where I was just like, it wasn't enough that I was like, that's not okay. I don't think that's correct. Let me break it down for you. We're going into science here. And I had to have a lot of these conversations until I realized they were trying to break me down. It wasn't enough that they had these views. They wanted to make me think the way they were thinking.
Right.
And they were talking to me. And I just think, is that how you are? You're going around you're living in this beautiful country, you know, being taken care of by these beautiful people in all this nature and living like off the land, and you're going around talking like that with lack of respect. And so I just had it, and I just said, listen, this is the deal. You know, you behave like that, you are not welcome. You can come here, you can force yourself, you're not welcome. And I had made that very clear. Not welcome. You and you, not welcome in Southern Africa. I officially I stand up and I represent my ancestors here. We don't like it. We don't like you. Fuck off. I didn't put it in those words. I was very polite. I'm very proud of myself because my dad, he doesn't mince his words with this sort of thing. You know, he's really like, he gets really mad at his family. Like mad. Like, you know, and I just thought, you know, I'm going to try and educate. I tried. And then I thought, why am I? Because I'm a person of color here and I'm doing this emotional labor. I was even, you shouldn't take it so personally. These people are being racist, and saying this stuff about, you shouldn't take it personally. You should educate. Oh, I should educate you. Go and Google it. Get the fuck out of my house and my country. I made it very clear. And then this person was friends with me on Instagram. And I thought, who else is out there with these views and thinks we're going to be friends? Because I want to make it very clear, we're not going to be friends. And so that's when I really came out and I posted my ancestors. These are my grandmothers. This is me. And I think you might have seen that post. I just went really loud and proud. You know, this is how it is. And I posted a lot of stuff and then I deleted and blocked because I don't need to be educating anyone who doesn't want to educate themselves. So, yeah, it was intense. But yeah, I need to be clear, you know, if there's anyone out there who thinks these things, who thinks that, you know, people who are people of color, black people, think differently because they have different color skin, educate yourself. If you think that they should be doing better for the country because, you know, it's been a few years, get the fuck out of the country. Go educate yourself. You are the problem. If those are the things you think, we are not friends. I have a lot of friends with a lot of different background, trust me, a lot. I do not want racists at my table. And that's it. I draw the line. Physical abusers, rapists, racists, out. We are not friends or family. So yeah.
Yes. It's like, it was just coming to me. It was feeling like the fire, but also like this, you know, that sacred rage that was just coming to me. Like this is a sacred process. This is rage. This is fire. This is necessary, you know, on our journeys to have that, to feel that, to express it.
I think so because, you know, 1 minute they're like, I would really love to come with you to Lesotho. You're not invited. I'm sorry. You feel that way? What's happening? And I can honestly tell you, if you ask them, have you ever been invited to, Mozambican's house? Not. Do you have any friends? No. Do you have any interpersonal relationships? No. Exactly. You're not invited. That's how you tell. You ever been invited to someone's house for dinner? You ever spent time with anyone? Do you know anyone do you care about anyone in your heart that is indigenous from there? That's how you tell if you're invited or not. To Africa, to Southern Africa, to Mozambique, to the countries. If you don't, you're not. And that's fine. You can come as a tourist as long as you're conscious and you know where where you're putting your money. And you can also come as a guest. That's also fine if you're invited, you know. As white people in Africa, we can be guests, I think, you know, if we have space in our heart and we honor and respect and you know, like, you know, be very careful how we like showing up there. Well, coming there, taking jobs, building businesses, and going around and talking like that, you're not invited. You're not welcome. That's the difference. And I can offer that to any white people or any mixed people or people who wanting to visit Southern Africa or Mozambique or Lesotho. That's what I would say. Who are you going to visit? And how are you going to visit? And be very conscious and careful of that. And have some manners, for God's sake. You know?
Yeah. I mean, this sounds very true for anyone of mixed heritage going back to the kind of indigenous.
Having a deep understanding of what happened, you know, so that you can also understand this is why, this is part of the karma. This is why it's like this. What part, what responsibility do I have? Does my ancestry have here? What can I learn, you know, here? And that also goes for also white people. You have a lot of white people going to South Africa, Europeans. Still, you know, colonization is alive and well. Africa's resources are here. They're all around us here. The safety of the streets here in Europe, you know, the accessibility of resources. This is all linked, you know, very strongly and very actively linked to the lack of resources in Southern Africa and in most of the African continent. It's the relationships. It's hard to see sometimes, you know. I saw a lot of stuff that, you know, people that I really love struggling, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate that, knowing that and seeing my hometown destroyed and my hometown, you know, being really like having, you know, falling apart. Why can't things be taken care of, and why can't people there be safer and, you know, have more opportunities and things, you know? It breaks my heart.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I think these are the things to be spoken about, I think, openly, you know? At least for me, it feels that way, because I see it and I just couldn't not say about it, you know, and there's going to be a lot of song and music coming off the back of this for sure.
Yes. And speaking of, thank you for sharing all of this, Maria, first of all. And speaking of the music, I really did want to, before we end, I want to hear a bit more. I would love to hear you talk more about this. You're coming from lineages of songwriters, and you've been doing this here, you know, like, I don't know, this whole medicine has been in you your whole life. I'd love to know more about like the songwriting as medicine and how that's helped you.
It's helped me so much, because what I love about it is there's no rules, and I just love that. You know, there's no right or wrong. You know, it's however you want to say it. You know, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And what I love about what I call soul songwriting, which is what I do and what I teach people to do, is speaking your truth. You know, and there's this beautiful magic. It's a craft, you know. If you like say it in a certain way with certain words, power words I call it, it can really unleash things, you know, and and release things, and it creates, it's like writing your own story, your own history, you know. Especially also as women of color, where do we show up in history? You know, everything has been invented and created and conquered by someone else. Where do we show up, you know? That isn't our story. And writing songs for me has been not only about writing my stories. I can still sing songs like that I wrote when I was 9, 17. I still remember them, you know. 20s, you know. It really has been a way of me writing my life, and it alchemizes as well, you know.
Yeah.
If something intense happens to me, like for instance this, what I've just talked to you about, I haven't been able to vocalize that, really articulate it, because it was just mush, you know, and like integrate. But there comes a point at which you can kind of put it to words, and that's where the songwriting comes in, you know, because then you can put it to music, and then you crystallize it in some way, and you sing your songs. There's nothing more powerful than singing your own song. There's a resonance. There's a deep resonance with not only the lyrics and the melodies, but with the truth, you know, and vocalizing the truth, you know, like that song I've recently released that for me is a channeling of our decolonial alchemy, I Decolonize Me. I mean, when that song came out, just being able to sing that song was like a big deal for me, you know, like, and I've been in situations since where I've felt the old restrictions from the colonization hitting me with relationships or situationships or things. And I would, like for instance, the situation with my cousin, she was staying with me in my house, and this happened in my house. And so when they left, thank God to my beloved partner who took care of it for me, and he kind of took them out, and I didn't have to deal with it after that. But the house had this energy, and I went into every room of the house singing and playing my ukulele really loudly, my song, I Decolonize Me, you know, this is where I stand. No, 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 you know, it's really powerful. It's like spells, magic spells and incantations, you know. So yeah, that's why I love sing.
Oh, thank you. I love hearing all of that. I love the song. I don't know. It just occurred to me as you picked up the ukulele, but I don't know if you feel comfortable to sing that for us.
Yeah, I can sing it, but I won't play the ukulele because it's easier to do the hand movements.
Okay.
So everyone here is welcome to join.
Okay.
This is not a song just for people of color. This is a song for all of us because we're all under colonization, and you know, it harms us all. But I would really like to give credit to Dr. Rocio, my teacher, who's a Chicana medicine woman and her Incan lineage, for being the one teaching me about decolonization, and also the strength from my decolonial alchemy group of women and femmes of, you know, Black and Indigenous women of color, who gave me the strength to find my voice here. These messages are not my own. This is a channeling. So it's called I Decolonize Me. And it goes like this. I decolonize me. I clap my hands, I stamp my feet, and now I'm free. You can't colonize me, 'cause in my heart and in my mind I know I'm free. I decolonize me. I clap my hands, I stamp my feet, and now I'm free. You can't colonize me, 'cause all my grandmas and my grandpas are with me. 'Cause you can never erase our stories, and you can never erase our hearts. No, you can never erase the truth that flows in rivers through our veins. No, you can never stop the storm that's growing. 'Cause I decolonize me. I clap my hands, I stamp my feet, and now I'm free. You can't colonize me, 'cause in my heart and in my mind I know I'm free.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
love that. I know you sang it to us a long time ago, like in our little group, but oh, so happy to see it out.
Thank you so much. Thanks for
When you
asking for
posted
it
it.
and for holding space and yeah, just being so receptive and beautiful, and letting me share my story and my song.
Yes. Oh, thank you. And I'd love for you to share like where people can find you. I know you have a course. I don't know if it's quite out yet, but um, just
Okay,
yeah,
I
please
actually
tell us
use this
about it.
live here as an opportunity to get all my stuff ready and release it so that it could be ready this full moon and this course. And I was in Lesotho when this happened and not sure if it was gonna, you know, when I committed to this, but I knew, and I've just got to do it and get it out. So it is ready. It's called Write Your Soul Song, and it's a free workbook with some guided email kind of course thing that will help any beginner or anyone who wants to really speak their truth and write their soul song work through. And you know, it's an interactive, beautiful, what I call a songbook kind of workbook thing. And yeah, it helps you write your soul
Mhm.
song. Thank you so much, Sarah. So you can find it in the
Thanks,
link in my
Sarah.
bio. Just literally click on the link tree. It's right at the top. Download it for free. And yeah, you get plugged into my Write Your Soul Song little course, little mini course. And from then on, as you work through the course, then, you know, there's a lot more to come from that. Like I offer one-to-one if people want to learn more about the full process and have supported space, because you can go deep in these soul songs, you know, and sometimes you need that support.
Yeah.
But the Write Your Soul Song, you know, free email course is there and available, and you know, for anybody who wants to download it. So I invite you to come in if any of this resonated and you want to write your own soul songs, you know, come onto my page, follow. I'll be sharing a lot of stuff about it, and sign up for the, you know, for the free downloads. So yeah.
Yay. Oh, I'm so excited that the course is ready. I've been hearing
I
about it for
know.
a while. And yes, just to like speaking to the energy of this full moon in Sagittarius, it feels really powerful for like
Yeah.
launching
Yes.
something like this. Um, Very exciting. And I want to mention also just with my own work, I just want to mention it a little here that um, I'm offering the Pleasure Temple for melanated beings who are ready to return to the sacredness of pleasure. And it's shifted a little, but it should be ready very soon. If it's not today, it'll be tomorrow. But a retreat, an online program that's in two parts, an initiation and an activation. And in the middle of that, around the fall equinox, a retreat here in this town that I live in, Mexico, the Pleasure Temple retreat. So yeah, I want to mention that because it feels exciting also. I feel like there's been a lot of shifts, a lot of things, but like we're in a good time, a good energy to share our gifts and
Yeah,
put it
that
out
sounds
there.
beautiful. I'm so excited about it. So, do you have to do the whole the courses to go on the retreat? Is it like a sort of start there and then work your way through and then you can do the retreat, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's no, anyone can come on the retreat. What the way I've been conceptualizing it from what it was going to be like a 12-week program, but I broke it up. And if you do the beginning program, the initiation part, or if you go on the retreat, or if you've done a lot of embodiment kind of work, then the next part, the activation part, the last 6 weeks is available
Okay.
for ongoing support and all that. So anyone can come on the retreat. It's meant to be for all levels of experience
Beautiful.
with pleasure,
And
sensuality,
is it
all of
just for women
that.
or is it mixed?
It's for yeah, women, femmes. I mean, yeah, it's also welcome for those who identify as non-binary, you know, as well. Yeah.
It sounds wonderful.
Yes.
I'm so excited as well of us showing up.
Thank
You
you.
know, here we are, showing up, and
Yeah.
that's so great. You know, we have been working towards this for a while. You know,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful to see it just starting to flower and come to fruition. And I'm really excited about what you're doing and just watching it very closely and wanting to really just support you and hold you in your you know, as you're coming out, and just wish you so much success and, you know, positivity and like, yeah, just abundance in your business and in your life. And, you know, that you're held and supported by your own ancestors and safe, and, you know, that your work gets out there, you know. I'm really excited for you to see flourish. So.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Maria. And honestly, I feel exactly the same for you, and having witnessed and like what I've gotten to of your journey, and knowing that, like, what I can say is that two things really. One is that there is so much inner work, inner process to put
Yep.
something out there in a very public way, like for anyone to look at. Like, to that, for me, I know for me has been a lot, and I feel like I've witnessed that for you as well. And also that all of this whole this series of Instagram Live and everything is, it to me, it's so, it just speaks to, you know, us coming together to support each other, you know, and not do this kind of, because we are in the structure, we're in the structure of white supremacy, of colonization, and that was meant to, like,
Yeah.
to tear us down, to have us fighting with each other, to have us competing, to have us like not come together, because that would be the downfall of such a, you know, systemic kind of oppression. So I think it's so important that we show up for each
Yeah.
other, support each other. I really feel the same for you. I'm so excited about this course I've
Yeah.
heard about for a
Thank
long
you
time.
so much.
Like, I feel drawn to do it myself. Like, I feel very shy about like singing or anything like that, but just this idea of
Yeah.
expressing our song
Yeah, and it's
just
something
feels
you
really
can do
good.
in your own. You don't have to ever sing your song to anyone ever, you know? And also, you know, I welcome
Yeah.
anyone who's curious to just download the workbook and have a look at it, you know, and just see what it entails. It's super easy, super fun, really straightforward, and yeah, you don't have to sing. You can, you know, you can write the lyrics and you can get someone else to sing it. Songwriters don't always have to be the ones, you know. I encourage some
Yeah.
sort of performance, even if it's just speaking the words, or, you know, saying them and offering them maybe to Mother Earth or to the trees or something, you know. But really, it's about the process of digging deep and finding out what your song is, even, you know, and how to articulate that. So it's a very small part of it is the singing, you know. So yeah, if you're curious, you know, I invite you to dip your toe in and see.
I am curious.
Great.
And I think a lot of people will be curious. So I'm very
Oh,
excited
I'm so excited to hear
about it.
what people come up with, like people's songs, almost more than me, you know, just deciding to be a musician. I'm even more excited about helping people write their own songs. It's like, imagine we get all this new material everywhere. I'm so tired of the stuff you hear on the radio. I want new, like, real stuff, like real meaningful things, like that I can, like, you know, that favorite song you have and what it does for you. It's like we're missing out not having people's songs, you know, and they're there, and I'm so excited about the whole prospect of like being involved in this work and, like, you know, hearing new stories. So yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Yes. Soul music, our soul music,
Really.
you know,
Yeah.
our soul song.
Thank you so much, Sonali.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It's so
Yeah,
good
and
to
as
be
we
here with
say
you.
in Lesotho, Kiale Boha, thank you. And yeah, you all the blessings, Salang Hantle, and yep, take care, and, you know, see you online.
Yeah, I would love to see you singing online too. I'm gonna put that again at the end.
Okay. Okay. That's
When, whenever that feels
yeah,
right.
I would love to. Today was a little touch in with having some of the people come from my previous gigs, you know. I will. I'm better now. That's the good news, you know. I feel connected to my roots. I needed roots. I need to draw from source, and I was disconnected from my source, you know. So yeah, I'm feeling better about that. But yeah, good point. I should start playing. I should start doing gigs again. Yay!
Yay!
Uh,
Oh, all right. Well, I'm gonna post this. I'll post your info with it, and yeah, we'll look for. I'll be looking forward to more songs, more
there will be more, and there'll be
performances.
some with Sesotho lyrics as well. Sesotho Portuguese lyrics. You know, I love singing in different languages to really invoke. So that's my next project, is to work with my brother my brother from a different mother in Lesotho, and he's gonna help me with lyrics and things, and I'm gonna bring some Basotho lyrics here, you know, into my songs and into Europe. Yeah. Yeah.
Yay! Oh, sending you so
good
much
to
love.
see you. You're looking really beautiful, and yeah. Thank you so much for having me on your Instagram live.
Oh, thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.